Hey guys, welcome to the shave, and let's look at our gear. I've used this brush lately and I recall I was refreshed with how wonderful these tips, how soft they are, how easy the splay is on this B4 knot from Declaration Grooming, and this is a That Darn Rob handle. Just a gorgeous one. This was a prize for my Lather Games efforts in 2020, and I really enjoy using it. The soap is, the scent was made by APR, Australian Private Reserve. The soap base was made by Southern Witchcrafts, and it's a Gravefruit. And obviously, it's a grapefruit scent, and that's the main note. And got some other neat things in there too, just to make things fun and interesting. And today is my first shave, where I'm showing you guys the Spearhead razor case, the three-piece travel razor case. We're going to be using the PTFE gem blade, and sure enough, my count was accurate. This oh no, it's not. I think this has had 17 uses on it, and so it's going to be 18 after today's shave, and we're going to be putting it in the Sabre that I've really just been enjoying. Nice strong snap. You will probably have already seen in my channel a video where I go into as much detail as I possibly can think of regarding this case. And it looks like a really nice construction materials and design. I like it a lot, and I'm glad I bought it. American made, support Spearhead, and this is the case that Fine Accoutrements ripped off and is having made in China and is selling it for less money. And so I ordered a Spearhead one at full retail price to cast my vote. Thank him for his work. You know what? Here's my Sabre handle, but just to illustrate the point, this is my Wolfman handle. I was using it in the video I made about the razor case, and I was showing people how the different handles would fit in. At least I think I was. And let's just show you how the Wolfman handle also goes right on that funky little thin bolt from the Sabre. Now, of course, this looks weird, but I'm just illustrating my point here. The soap just smells so clean and fresh with the strong grapefruit note. The other notes are there. Some of them I was able to pick up. You'll see in the description. I was able to pick up some of those, and but they are minor notes. Grapefruit front and center. It's really nice. Just like it really does. Freshness in the actual grapefruit type scent is wonderful. Now the bowl we'll be using today is the same one we've been using lately because it works so well. The 1.4 liter, that's a bowl from Tupperware. How about that? I lucked out, and I went up into the kitchen to see if there were some others, but nothing that really jumped out at me that was going to be any better. So I'm going to use it again. All right, so we are going to load up. Did I load up the blade? Yes, I did. Let me get my face a little wet, then we'll load the soap in the brush. All right, I'm going to shake a lot of the water out of the brush. This one holds a good bit because this brush knot is just not ultra dense. And I'm glad about that because that also gives it a little bit less backbone. It's not as stiff and shovey as so many are from Declaration, because that's just the way Scott likes his brushes. And here's the Grapefruit. And let's do a 20-second load. We'll start at the 05 mark there and stop at 25. So Southern Witchcrafts does vegan soaps. This is no different. They have a great base that really performs well, even if you consider any type of soap. And there we go. That was a pretty quick 20 seconds. How about that? So we'll start working that up as we do. See if I can pick up any of the other notes that are in the scent. Can't remember what they are. I will have a description in the video for your reference, but I don't have that on hand with myself right now. It's pretty light and airy right now because I did pour some of the liquid from the tub that was provided by the brush, pour it right into the bowl. And so one thing you can do if you want to get rid of some of those bubbles is don't start adding water right away. Just kind of work the lather as it is. I believe that 20 seconds should be plenty enough soap. So this should start coming together and being less kind of light and bubbly pretty soon. Nice. And now I'll get my syringe out and add usually 2 teaspoons is a good start. So why don't we just go ahead and put that in. Sometimes it's fun to slowly build up a lather. If you like a meditative aspect, it's neat to put in maybe half a teaspoon at a time and just watch your lather come together, get more creamy as you go. But a lot of people may not have that kind of time. So with many soaps, you can just put in more water at the beginning, and then what you do is you mix, and then you watch your lather come together and stop being so loose and wet and cream up. You'll see volume increase as you are combining the soap inside the bristles there with the water that you've added. See a big old glob in there. I wish I had a color bowl that wasn't white. It would be much easier for you to see everything, but hopefully enough comes across that you get the picture. That's looking pretty good. I may not take this quite as elastic as I usually do, so I think we might be. Just try what we have. Add water later if I need to. It's pretty elastic as it's kind of not able to support its own weight and stuff. Slowly moving. All right. The only disadvantage of this bowl, as you've heard me say the last few shaves, if you've watched my shaves consecutively, is that the brush does tend to fall down in the lather and get the handle messy. Oh, this is just such a good one. All right. A little bit of water on my face. I feel like this lather is going to be wet. So let's just go at it. Glad I stopped adding water. I wonder if maybe I left a little water in the brush. As you can see, the lather is disappearing. It may have needed some more mixing. The oils on my face also tend to kill a lather if it's right on the edge. So I will get back in there, and one nice thing about the bowl, you can just go right back to the bowl and get some more suds. Sometimes another thing to play around with if you've got time is to take a lather sometimes that maybe you've gotten a little too wet and just work it for a while on your face and watch it change as you experience a little bit of evaporation. The lather will get more and more creamy. See what you like about it, that kind of thing. This is a nice wet lather. Pretty much too wet. It's not really showing off the tremendous brush. It's easily dripping down to my hand. So maybe I left too much water in the brush and didn't quite mix everything up like I should. How do we rescue that? Not really a big deal. We can just make the soap a little bit more intense on my face. We don't need to go back to the puck for a long load there. And you can see that starting to come together and thicken up. And I've worked it pretty well into my face now for a while, so even though it's kind of starting to come together, I don't really need to keep going because the prior efforts helped it to kind of bond to my skin. And then we can take the extra there and put it back in the bowl. All right. So the the oddball here, I'm going to keep the angle of the blade pretty close to the skin, pretty small angle. And that has been giving me a very comfortable shave. Standard 1-day growth today. And I've done, if you've watched my channel very much, you know that I have some double-edged blades that have really gone far in terms of number of uses, and I decided to see how many uses a single-edged blade would give me. So that's why I've been using this one lately. Comfortable? Yes. And let's rinse. All right, let's see how the lather goes this next time around. I'll kind of circulate it a little bit in the bowl here. I definitely didn't add any water. See if we have a little bit more intensity in the brush, you know, and so maybe combining it with the bowl. Good news is a quality lather, like quality soap like this one, even if it looks pretty transparent, is often going to give you a still that micro surface, that slick surface that is still going to give you a great shave, even if it looks all watery and gone. Cross grain now on my cheeks. I've been getting pretty close shaves with this everywhere on my face, and it's not quite cutting me as close in my neck trouble spot as, you know, an average DE razor or a decent DE razor does. But that's all right. It's still very happy with the closeness, and it looks nice. Keeping that loose hold as best I can. It's a little harder with this one, with the single edge here, than it is with the double edge, because of the angle you have to use. Not going to do that direction until the third pass. And it feels in great control, like I've been telling you guys. Sabre is a wonderful piece from Blackland. To me, it kind of bridges the gap between. I've had a chance to try several single edge razors that take this same type of blade, like the Micromatic clog proof, the bullet tip, the 1912 type single edge razors, the Gem Junior, and they like different ones for different reasons, and they are a little bit more aggressive, and definitely more aggressive than this guy. This is the level 2 base plate, by the way, and so I think that this one is a wonderful step toward those razors in terms of the feel and the comfort. It is more solid feeling. It doesn't sound off. It doesn't have the singing and the kind of raspy, scratchy notes that you get with those others because of its solid construction. And so the feel, my friend HD Shaves finally was able to give one of these sabers a try, and he said that I think he said he preferred the 1912s and that group of kind of real vintage single edges. The way this one just had a different feel to it that maybe it just wasn't quite what he was looking for when he was going to choose to single edge shave. All right. Face looks good. Face feels good. I can take and put the little bit of excess here. Very nice. I don't have any irritation. Spreading this around, and you can just feel the nice glide here. It's a light, kind of watery kind of slickness instead of something oily. Rinse time. And to help my lather still cream up a little bit even more, I dab my face with a towel between this pass so that my face might actually absorb and take away a little bit of the moisture from the lather. But that second one was nice. I had very good slickness, so we're good. Still a little bit left. I could do another pass if I wanted. I'm a little surprised that the 2 teaspoons was all I needed. Glad I didn't add more. And again, we'll do cross grain. I didn't quite feel like it was cutting as closely as it has for the last several shaves. I wonder if when this blade starts to tell me that it's done, I wonder if it's going to do it by just simply not cutting as well. Not really offering a tugging sensation, but perhaps just showing its age by lack of efficiency. And you know what that means? I could potentially switch the blade to a more aggressive razor like those gem razors I was talking about with the 1912s. I found the Gem Junior to be one of my favorites. And if I wanted to go more aggressive than that, perhaps the clog proof. I'm going to switch directions here. A little bit of skin tugging. And we'll just see how well that worked. Yeah, it's not quite as good of a shave as I usually get with a DE, so we may be starting to see a different level of closeness that would have to be acceptable if one wanted to keep using the blade at this age. After inspection, I do have a little bit more of a shadow here because the tips there, while I don't see any length on the tips on my face, You know, I can feel a little bit as I go against the grain. I don't feel any hairs if I go with the grain. But because they're not shaved quite so deep or flush, then there's a little bit more of a shadow, a visual appearance. I mean, it's very slight. You could probably, with most jobs, you'd be fine with having this level of shave. It was comfortable. I don't think we had any weepers or anything like that. And I did have, there are several tips and just kind of a general shadow here. Several places where the length is able to be seen a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, it's been cut, but still a reasonably respectable shave. But yeah, I think your average person might want to pitch the blade, perhaps, at this point. Not because of comfort or tugging or anything, but just lack of efficiency. I will have to try putting this blade in another razor. See if a little bit more aggression allows it to continue. Now, let's see if grapefruit goes well with a sweet tea smell. It goes well regionally because the Atlanta-based company of Southern Witchcrafts is in the peach state. Although, as someone who grew up in South Carolina, I will tell you that South Carolina actually produces more peaches than Georgia. But Georgia has the name the peach state. So we'll see if the grapefruit and the sweet tea, a little bit of lemon. Yeah, the grapefruit should agree with the citrus that's in this. It's the Declaration Grooming liniment, of course. L&L Grooming is the company that existed that changed over to Declaration Grooming. And you'll see a light white because maybe I used a little bit too much product, but it'll be absorbed soon. And you pick a scaly elbow or something else nice to use the excess liniment on. Well, my face feels very nice. I got a reasonably close shave, so I'm a happy camper. The Sabre is a wonderful razor to use. I've been enjoying just the firmness of the blade because it's a thicker blade than the DE blades. It just presents a different experience, and once the blade gets to about 20 uses, if this one is indicative of most of them, I wonder if maybe a level 3 plate, if I might enjoy that. But of course, I could just simply pass the torch on to the more aggressive vintage single edge razors, like I mentioned before. I could do that if I wanted. Yes, the sweet tea of the Southern Paradise, matching wonderfully with the grapefruit. It's really nice. They both are meshing well together to create a unified scent that I am definitely enjoying. Not a transition necessarily, but a clarification and a unification there. It's really neat. The brush did great as usual. The thin lather didn't really set it in its best light. This has been towel stropped, and so we'll let it sit out. Make sure it gets dry. And as you may notice, if you have a good eye, we do have a little bit of clumping here because these tips have been treated with a agent that kind of gives them a light gel feeling. That's that softness. And they, fortunately, it's not too jelly. I don't like too many little tiny sponges. I don't like that kind of soppy feeling that some of the high gel brushes have. So the Spearhead, my Sabre is going to walk away from this shave in the Spearhead case, and I think it's a nice little piece. Be sure to check out the individual video that I made talking about all the details of the Spearhead case if it is something you might be interested in. I need to remember to put a link to the Spearhead case under the description of that particular video as well. All right, I think we're good. face feels great. I do think that it might be nice if the shave were just a little bit closer, but working from home and these days, and it's really not a bad shave. And I've noticed, I don't know, have you, where as your skin changes within an hour or two after the shave, it's like the hair recedes just a little bit. So sometimes I've found that if I saw a little bit of length in a few tips, that'll be gone in about an hour or two. Maybe as the skin dries and things like that. It just seems like the way it works sometimes. So you end up walking away with a better shave than you thought you did. Well, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I sure hope that there's been something in this video to help you out in your shaving journey. You guys take care, and good night.